Picture this. You've got an amazing idea. You've thought about it for a while and you can't wait to get started. Maybe it's a new content series if you're a content creator. Maybe it's working on your CV or, your LinkedIn profile. Maybe you want to, rebrand yourself and work on your personal brand. There's been maybe a workshop you've been meaning to offer. There's a business idea that you have and you've been wanting to start for the longest time. There's a book you've been meaning to write. And you have all these plans. You have inspiration, you have talent, you have skills, You're very excited and motivated initially, but you find that days turn into weeks and then weeks into months. That amazing idea just sits there, untouched on your to-do list. Hello, and welcome to Convey with Caroline, the show where every story becomes your path to powerful communication and powerful growth. I am your host, Caroline Giro, a communication strategist, speaker, and coach, here to help you discover and amplify your unique voice in today's ever-evolving digital world. Now, let's get started. Last time, I spoke about impactful storytelling as part of our Find Your Voice series, discovering how narratives can elevate everything from your brand to everyday interactions. Now today, I'd like to tackle a challenge that so many professionals face: procrastination. This is a sneaky force that keeps us from turning our great ideas into meaningful action. You find yourself sitting there, either stuck in doom scrolling on social media and you can't stop. You keep putting it off. You keep saying, I'm going to start tomorrow morning. You say, you know what, let me just look at this YouTube reel and then I'm going to get to it by 2 p.m. I'm going to start, and 2 p.m. turns into Wednesday and Wednesday starts into next week and next month. And before you know it, you have achieved nothing and time is moving. Yeah. Now, I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to unpack why procrastination happens, and I'm going to share practical tips to overcome it and give you some tips to get you along. Let's dive in. Guys, I'm a victim myself. You see, this podcast that I'm communicating all this to you has been something I've been thinking about starting for like the last, 3-4 years. Actually, to even make it worse, I had the concept of what I'd like to do. I put together my ideas. I put together my concept note, my proposal and everything. I looked into the costing, how much it would take to go to the studio and get it recorded. I started thinking about, having it sustainable over a long period of time. And would I be able to sustain going to the studios and whatnot? So I started looking into equipment, and I started buying the equipment one by one. So I save a bit of money and I buy a camera, save a bit of money, and I buy my recorder, I get my podcast pro, I get my microphones, and they're just sitting in boxes. I get one and I have a reason why I won't start. I have a reason. And the reason is, okay, now I have the camera. However, I don't think this mic is the best. So let me look for a better mic. And then I spend 3 months looking for a better mic. And then I get the microphone. And then I'm like, let me get, a roadcaster. And I start spending another 4-5 months looking for one slowly. And then I'm like, you know what, let me just write the concept note. And then I write it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't think this is it. What if people don't like it? And I keep, postponing. Time is moving, for a myriad of reasons. Either you're fearful, feeling not ready, but when you actually get into it, you realize you don't need anything. I could as easily have started with just my phone. But there are very many other things that are happening psychologically that get us stuck for a very long time on something that you could have done very quickly, and I know what I'm saying is not only me. I'm sure you can relate to this, maybe this sounds familiar. You're not alone. Many of us have faced that P word, procrastination. And the frustrating part is that we actually want to take action. It's not laziness. It's just that we get overwhelmed or we want to wait for that perfect moment, But guess what? That perfect moment rarely shows up on schedule. In a world overflowing with opportunities, be it building your personal brand, creating impactful content, or getting started on that business idea you have, procrastination can be and is a silent enemy of progress. It robs you of momentum. It delays your personal growth and can even dent your confidence. The longer you wait, the more you start feeling like, it's not good enough. I had already started thinking of an idea, and then the more I wait and I go online and I see somebody who's done it better than me, or somebody who has even moved the needle more than me, you start feeling like, oh, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not ready. And this can stagnate you. It can lower your self-esteem. After all, every day spent not acting on your ideas is a day someone else might be pushing theirs forward. So why do we procrastinate? Often, like I mentioned, it's because of fear. The fear of failing, the fear of imperfection, the fear of the unknown, or it could be overwhelming, that overwhelming feeling like we have too many steps to handle. Like I've given you in my case, I felt like it was so complicated. I was watching video after video on YouTube, how to get started, how to ensure you set up your studio, how to buy the right equipment, how to do. So the more you get into it, the deeper you study it and research it, the more overwhelming it looks, the more the steps seem so many. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't think it's going to get that deep, And regardless of whether it's the fear, the overwhelming, the too many steps, ultimately the result is the same. Stalled progress, and that lingering sense of frustration. But there's hope, because by understanding procrastination and tackling it with a practical strategy, then you can unlock that door that's keeping your brilliant ideas bottled up. The more I've lived this life, the more I have begun understanding that life is a journey. And there's no destination. When I went to school, I was so excited, to finish primary school and go into high school. And the 4 years I was in high school, we were always saying, we can't wait to get out of this green grades. Our high school had a green gate. We can't wait for 4 years to be done. I can't wait to go to university. You're so excited for the next step. Then you get to university or to college and you can't wait to get out of this university so that you can start earning some money, get your first job. And for me in particular, I realized that, yes, I know that delayed gratification is good, but for me, mine wasn't even delayed. It was just, I was never getting to the point where I'm starting to enjoy my life, because I'm always waiting for this thing to happen. Now that I have my job, the job is not paying me enough, so I need another job that can pay me better. So always waiting and thinking that there's going to be a day, a time that I'm going to arrive at this magnificent destination where I'll get to enjoy my life. There's no such thing. There's no destination. And it's been a long, painful lesson that I have learned. There's no place that we are arriving so that you can find that there's this entire joy or entire moment to enjoy your life on this earth. Maybe in the afterlife, but not right here on earth. Actually, the journey itself is the destination. So we have to be able to use our time on earth wisely and not keep waiting and pushing and waiting for this perfect moment. Newsflash, nobody has it figured out. Nobody on this earth. Only God himself has got life figured out. So all the rest of us are slowly just trying to find out. So do not let other people that you're watching on social media or in real life, or your friends or your colleagues or your family members, delay you because you feel you're not good enough, because you're comparing yourself with other people. Now, I want to break down the root causes of procrastination and some of the solutions to this. I've already mentioned fear. Fear happens because we don't start because we want everything to be flawless. Yeah, we want everything to be perfect. And you're scared that if I start this business idea, or if I start this thing I want to do, people are going to laugh at me. They're going to wonder, what made you the expert? They're going to wonder, what are you telling us and you don't have a degree in this? What are you telling us and you're so young and you don't have experience in this? So you're scared of being humiliated and embarrassed. You're scared of failing. Maybe you go there and launch the book and then nobody buys it. You're scared of, maybe you spent a lot of money on the idea and then you lose it all. So whatever the reason, fear sometimes can take hold of us, and this fear is only in our heads. A lot of people you see out there who are trying every day and looking like they're succeeding. It's not that because they've perfected it, it's just that they've let go of that fear and have decided, you know what, I'm going to do it and I'm going to incrementally grow. One step always leads to the other. So the moment you start doing whatever it is you're planning on doing, automatically the step 2 will appear. Because if I don't know how to bake a cake and I decide today I'm going to bake a cake, I'm not going to look up any recipes. I think I already know what goes into a cake. I know there's flour, there's eggs, there's milk, there's sugar. I think we put in some essence like vanilla or something. So I'm just going to do it. And then I get in the kitchen and I just take the ingredients and I mix them up and I bake my cake, and it of course backfires and comes out looking horrible and nobody can eat it. But because I've done it the wrong way once, I now know that, oh my gosh, I didn't know what I was doing. I think I better read up a recipe. Oh, I understand where I went wrong. Or I shouldn't have put so much sugar. Or I shouldn't have put this amount of whatever. Oh, salt is an ingredient in a cake. Oh, I didn't know that. So you'll slowly have incremental growth. So the person who is doing it imperfectly is better than the person who has not started at all. Because as long as you're not starting, you're trying to perfect it from the sidelines. You're not even in the game. Like if you're watching a game of football and you're in the stands and you're seeing the soccer players and you're commenting, why is he hitting the ball like that? If it was me, I'd do it like that, get the ball. So you're still in the stands. The footballer is on the field. So the only way you can slowly perfect yourself is by starting where you are with what you have. Embrace the idea that a good enough first draft or outline is better than nothing. Commit to improving as you go along. Number 2 is getting overwhelmed. Why does this happen? The project that you're working on starts feeling too big. It makes you feel unsure of where to begin. You're excited about it. You really want to start, but you're starting to feel like it's bigger than you. It's looking like someone is asking you to eat a cow. Now, if you had to eat a cow, where do you take the first bite from? You can't eat it all at once. And so it becomes so large. And so you wake up in the morning and you had said, I'm going to start tomorrow. Whatever it is, maybe you want to start working out and maybe you want to lose some weight. And you're like, I'm going to start fasting on Monday morning. I'm going to get up. I'm going to, you've laid out your outfit. I'm going to join the gym, or I'm going to start walking or running in my neighborhood. And maybe you have like 20 kilos to lose or something. And then you wake up in the morning, set your alarm, and it rings. It's, 6:30 a.m. And you start overthinking. Okay, now, even though I go on this walk and have 20 kilos to lose, am I going to lose all 20 kilos at once? How long will I take? If I just walk today, you start overthinking it. It starts looking bigger than you can manage. Will you really manage? And so you find you're scrolling on your phone. It's 6:45, it's 7. You're still thinking about it. You drift off to sleep. And next thing you wake up, it's 8 a.m. You're like, oh, I'm late for work. And then you say, okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. And so on and so forth. So that feeling of being overwhelmed because you're feeling that this thing is big, very big, like what I told you about setting up my podcast. And this is something when eventually I set it up, I realized, oh my gosh, what the hell was I waiting for? What was I waiting for? This is something I could easily have just started on my phone. Nowadays there are even these little clip-on mics which are really affordable. They're not A quality, but it's a start. Just plug it into your phone and just start. And then improve from there. So what is the solution? The solution is to break tasks into tiny steps. Don't focus on the large goal, on the large thing or the large outcome, but just focus on the first step. Yeah. So if I want to learn how to bake, or I want to go and start getting fit, my fitness journey, instead of starting to think about, oh my gosh, I need to go and climb Mount Kenya by July, am I going to be ready? Just focus first of all on that first kilometer. I'm going to walk fast 1 kilometer. I'm going to increase to 2 kilometers. I'm going to increase to 5 kilometers. Break it into tiny achievable steps. Focus on just the first one and then the next. This builds quick wins and momentum and allows you to slowly progress. And the moment you're able to achieve the first one and the second one, you gain confidence and you're able to achieve them all. Number 3, lack of clear deadlines. And this happens when there's no set date, So your tasks linger indefinitely. So you don't feel like you're late, really, because you really hadn't set a time that you can finish the task. When we are told to set our goals, we are told to make them SMART, the acronym SMART, with the T standing for time, time bound. So you need to ensure that whatever it is you want to do, you need to set yourself a time limit. You need to be able to ensure that the thing that you're saying has a time frame. I would like, for example, to, and that's why even when people are losing weight, they're usually told to imagine or set an event that's coming up. They're asked like, they found that when people are trying to lose weight for a particular thing, it's easier for them to achieve it because they can see it. For example, I'm going to lose weight so that I can look nice in my wedding dress, or I'm going to lose weight because there's this event I'm attending. When somebody is able to see the finish line, it adds motivation. You're motivated to be able to move as fast as possible to achieve it. That's the way human beings were made. When you're, even when you're running a race and you're very tired, you're running a 5K, you know that even though I'm very, very exhausted at 4.5 kilometers, you're able to push through because you just know I have another 500 meters to go. Now, that's the way life is. If you're able to measure and see the finishing line, it makes it easier for you. So when you're setting your goal, ensure that you put a specific time frame. I would like to write my book, and I'm going to write a book that is going to be finished and launched by September 2026, or I'd like to do this by this time. And then you work backwards. You work backwards and say, if this thing is going to be launched by November, then it means by September, I should have achieved this. By May, I should have achieved this. By February, I should have achieved this. So you're able to now make it bite-sized, and you're eventually able to reach the finishing line. So you need to assign realistic mini deadlines, along the journey. And like when you finish your outline by Friday or drafting 2 LinkedIn posts by next week, then you'll be able to apply for the job on this other date, right? Number 4 is distractions. We live in a world of, social media, the internet. It is grabbing our attention and we can't resist. We can't look away. We've been hypnotized, Our phones, it's the first thing you look at when you wake up. It's the last thing you look at when you go to bed. You're looking at your WhatsApp messages. You're looking at your Facebook, your Instagram, or even Netflix. You're perpetually on the phone. I'm telling you, your phone is your biggest distraction. Internet is the biggest distraction. You need to develop discipline. It's really, really tough. But discipline means that I'm not going to do this until this time. When I wake up in the morning, I'm not going to look at my phone, or I'm not going to turn on my internet until this time, so that I can be able to first do this or this or this. You first want to maybe say your prayer, or you want to do your exercise, or you want to do this before you start going on social media. Especially when you wake up first thing in the morning. These are mostly your most productive hours of the day for a lot of people. I know other people work later in the evening, but you don't want to spend your most productive time when you're the most well-rested, most alert, just scrolling endlessly, looking at unrelated items that make you giggle, make you upset, take you on an emotional roller coaster within the span of 30 minutes. These distractions of social media is one of the leading causes of procrastination. You're so distracted. You need to schedule distraction-free blocks. You need to mute notifications at certain times. Or you can even download apps that temporarily limit your phone usage if at all you're not able to control it yourself. Looking at your phone, sometimes 1 hour is gone. You could even be working on your desk, if you're working from home and you've sat down and you've created time and you've made sure maybe it's quite quiet and you want to start, and you're working on something and you're moving very fast on your project, your proposal, your book, whatever it is. And then you hear a ding notification and you glance up to just read that one message, and that one message turns into an hour of doom scrolling. By the time you remember what you were doing and try to come back to your work, you've already lost motivation, you're tired and whatnot. So you need to put time away from the distractions, especially your phone. Of course, internet and social media is not the only distraction in life. There are other distractions, things like stress, things like, poor mental health. Maybe you're going through something, the environment that you're in and so on. But all this can be solved. And the first way to solve these things is by first identifying what the distraction is in your life and then trying to see how you can circumvent it. The goodness with working and starting to work on your project is that when you achieve, it's like a reward in itself. When you're able to achieve step 1 of 100, it motivates you so much and gives you the confidence boost to do number 2 and number 3 and number 4. So if you acknowledge these common culprits and commit to small doable steps, you'll find yourself inching closer to your goals instead of letting them drift in the realm of, someday I will get to this. So I cannot leave you without some biblical example. So today I'm going to use the example of the New Testament story in Matthew chapter 25, where Jesus was talking about the parable of the talents. And if you've read this story, you'll know that it was the parable of a master who was going away on a journey, and he gave 3 of his servants some bags of gold, but he didn't give them all the same amount. To one he gave 5 bags, another one 2, and one bag of gold. And he left them and went on his way. And when he came back, the one who had 5 bags had doubled it to 10 bags of gold. And the master was so happy and rewarded him. And the one who had 2 bags had doubled it to 4 bags. But the one who had been given 1 bag had gone and buried it in the ground, for whatever reasons he had. Maybe he was scared to lose it. Maybe, he didn't believe that he can multiply it, and many other things. So when the master came back, he gave him the 1 bag of gold. And the master was very upset with him. And as he was rewarding the ones who had more and praising their efforts, he, rebuked this other servant and told him, you evil servant, you wicked servant, and, whatever names he called him. And he was very upset with him. And he took that 1 bag that he gave him and rewarded the one who had 10 bags. And at the end of this parable, Jesus says that, he's trying to tell us about something to do with the talents that we have even today. And he says that whoever has will be given more, and they will have abundance. And whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken away from them. It's a sad truth. But when we come on planet Earth, we have to play by the rules that have been placed here for us. And we have to understand them. So you have to understand why the people who, even though they seem imperfect to you, even though you criticize them and wonder how they're even getting the confidence to do what they're doing, and you see that they seem to be succeeding and getting more and more and more, herein lies the why. Because the one who is not scared to take that step and to take that talent that was God-given and multiply that talent, then they tend to get rewarded more. Of course, given that if they are adhering to, other principles as well. But if you have a God-given talent, God has given you the talent to mentor, the talent to succeed and share your gift, maybe through business, the talent to write, the talent to sing, the talent to invest, and whatever it is. If you have that talent, but you're just sitting there with it, waiting for an opportune time, doing nothing, just postponing by a day, by 2 weeks, by 3 weeks, by a month, by a year, by 3 years, you have to ask yourself, are you in the category of the servant who was given 1 bag? In this case, we look at it as the talent you were given, and you decided to bury it in the ground. And then later on, you'll have all excuses as to why you were not able to do anything with the talent that you were given. So I hope that is able to motivate you to take timely action. You cannot bury your idea or gift just because you're anxious about how it will pan out. Like the servants who multiplied their talents, we can multiply our impact by doing something, but today, do it today. Procrastination only keeps potential locked away, right? So now I want to move from just understanding procrastination to beating it. And I want to leave you with some practical steps. Number one, break it down. Instead of viewing a proposal, a rebrand as a huge undertaking, like I said, outline each mini task, brainstorm 5 topics, draft into, a paragraph, design, your logo concept one by one. I found that if I give myself micro goals, like 30 minutes to plan something, I'm far less intimidated by it. Number 2, set your boundaries and deadlines. Yeah, don't wait for a perfect moment. Pick a date to finalize that CV revision. Pick a date to edit that thing on your desk. Pick that date to, send in your application and just start. When you mark it in your calendar, just like a doctor's appointment, most of the times you stop pushing it off. Number 3, have some public accountability. Announce your target date to, trusted friends or trusted colleagues or even family members or a small group. It keeps you accountable, I already announced and said, I'm launching my book this year. Stay tuned. So now I've said it. I've put it out there in the atmosphere. So no matter how tempted I am to delay, I'll always remember, oh my gosh, I already announced it. Now I have to do it, and that will give you a push. Number 4, reward yourself whenever you have some progress. Celebrate small victories. If you've been struggling to write something, to write a book, and you get on a page and you write 300 words, clap for yourself. Yeah. Treat yourself to a break, take a walk or take some music or give yourself a snack or something. Don't over celebrate, obviously. Don't overdo it, but, give yourself a pat on the back, right? If you give yourself positive reinforcement, it will help your brain associate progress with pleasure, and it will make you want to do it again. Finally, reflect and adjust. At the end of the week, review what worked and what didn't, and then adjust your approach accordingly. Yeah. If you're trying to get fit and you have read a lot about if you do this exercise or you do this type of thing, it's going to go this way. And then after a week, you're realizing that you're super struggling or this and this is happening, adjust accordingly. If you overpunish yourself, chances of you giving up are high. Yeah. So sometimes I realized I was too optimistic with my deadlines, and other times I realized that I could have done more, and I had set a very easy deadline. Right? So try and implement at least 1 or 2 of these tips to kick procrastination this week. Don't wait. Don't wait to start next week. Please try and implement immediately. Right? So now with this episode on procrastination, you might notice how it directly connects to the topics, if you've listened to the other topics that I've dropped that covered confidence, writing essentials, public speaking, overcoming fear. After all, none of these skills matter if we've never actually put them into practice. If we take all these things and put them together, you will definitely find your voice and you'll be able to communicate properly and with excellence. Yeah. So if you conquer procrastination, you're paving the way for consistent growth, step by step, and seeing real progress in your personal brand or even creative projects. As I wrap up this episode on beating procrastination, remember that those big dreams and brand ideas don't just vanish. They are waiting for you to make the first move, and you can do it. If you overcome procrastination, you're opening the door for your voice to resonate and your influence to grow. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share this podcast with friends or colleagues who might be stuck in the procrastination trap. Let's cheer each other to take on tangible steps towards our goal. Until next time, remember, the world needs your voice, so let's convey excellence.